When you are in a relationship with a narcissist, they are going to shower you with an overwhelming amount of praise, attention, and affection. This is in the first stage, love bombing. Here, suddenly, you are the center of this person's world. You're swept up in a storm of affection, showered with gifts, attention, and compliments. It makes you feel so special. This person seems to have boundless love for you. And it's not just the power and the intensity of these feelings that's so overwhelming, but how quickly it's all happening. Now, this is important because in this first stage, that narcissist is creating an addiction. You're becoming hooked on this high level of attention and affection, and it can be really hard to break away from this once it starts. So, it's crucial to recognize that with them, it's not love. Love bombing is a tactic to trap you in a relationship that's all about them. This stage is also called the idealization stage because they are going to create this ideal image of this perfect person by making you feel special, by making you feel loved, by making you feel like they can make your life complete, because you feel this unwavering, unconditional love and affection every time you see them. Now, in the love bombing stage, this person does not care about your faults, does not care about your differences, does not care about anything else but pulling you into their world and making you feel loved. Now, you can really get addicted to this feeling because at first it seems like a fairy tale romance, but soon everything changes and you find yourself in the second stage, devaluation. Here's where the abuse really starts because you see a whole new side of them. The person who once looked at you with love now looks at you with hate. In the devaluation stage, you cannot do anything right. Compliments are replaced with criticism, praise is replaced with blame, and it honestly seems like they can barely stand being around you. The insults, the blaming, the fighting, the devaluation stage cuts deep, and you quickly begin to question not just your relationship, but your own self-worth. This is a crucial part of their manipulation because slowly or all at once, the relationship is going to fall apart. And they are going to make you feel like it's your fault. In the devaluation stage, that narcissist is going to shame you. They are going to blame you. They are going to criticize you. They are going to start fights with you and call you crazy. They're going to tell you you're overreacting. They are going to gaslight you. They are going to insult you, blame you, and make you feel horrible. Now, they want to make you try harder to earn their love so they can feel better about themselves. This is a dangerous time for your mental health because you're going to be left walking on eggshells, trying to avoid their anger, trying to avoid their criticism, and trying to understand what you did wrong. But the only thing you're going to understand is that you can never please them. Day in and day out, this stage is a relentless barrage of insults, criticism, and blame to the point where you feel you're not good enough for them. And you feel like you can never do anything right, and you feel like they've turned into a completely different person, and somehow you're to blame. More and more you begin to feel isolated and alone. You don't know how to fix your relationship, but you want things to go back to normal because you really begin to deeply miss the love you once had. Now, they have you second-guessing yourself. They have you worried that you'll do something else to upset them, believing everything really is your fault, thinking maybe you don't deserve their love, feeling like it's you who've changed, but that isn't true. They got you addicted to the love bombing, and then they took it away. The devaluation stage is cruel and painful, but it's only just the beginning, because in this next stage, the narcissist will show you their true nature. This is the discard stage. In this stage, that narcissist is going to shut you out of their life. They're going to discard you, throw you away, kick you to the curb, because you're no longer able to fulfill their limitless need for attention and admiration. They're going to drop you, ghost you, break up with you, or heartlessly replace you with someone new, not just to hurt you, but to boost their own ego and reinforce that addiction. You just cannot ignore how important the discard stage is, because it shows the relationship was never really about the two of you. It was only about their need to feel control and validation, which means that you were never more than a tool for their selfish needs. Imagine the day arrives when you mean nothing to them. One moment, you're feeling the warmth and affection of this person's love, and then suddenly, without a care, they turn their back on you. They completely shut you out of their life. In the discard stage, they're going to act like you are less than nothing, and you begin to feel overwhelmed and confused by their rejection. Now you'll find yourself replaying this breakup over and over again, craving that love bombing, wondering how you lost them, and even blaming yourself for everything they did to you. In the discard stage, they are really compensating for their own insecurities by rejecting you, blaming you, and putting you down. They get a false sense of importance and self-worth, and you're going to be left haunted by self-doubt and unanswered questions. This stage is confusing, and there's a part of you that will really wonder if it was all your fault. Did you blow it? Did you cause this to happen? Were you ever truly enough for this person? Because at this point, they've erased you from their life in such a cold and cruel way that you're left feeling abandoned, alone, and painfully aware that they believe you don't deserve their love. Now, it's absolutely unfair that you should have to suffer with self-doubt after the narcissist has discarded you. But that is the devious nature of their manipulation. They cause you to feel this lingering sense of guilt and confusion and loss by making you feel loved and then making you feel worthless. What's really important to realize here is this. The reason this is so damaging is that during the love bombing stage, you've become addicted to this person's love and validation, and you feel empty when it's taken away. And then they amplify that pain by blaming you and making you feel unworthy of their love. Now, this causes you to instantly feel a powerful sense of loss and longing when this person is gone, and you find yourself yearning for clarity, for closure, but most of all, for the warmth and connection you shared with them. But the brutal manipulation does not stop there, because here's what happens next. You just got dumped by the most loving, charming, charismatic person you've ever met. Only here's the thing. they were also self-absorbed, controlling, and made you feel terrible, and then broke your heart. It hurts, but you're picking up the pieces and starting to heal. Now, just as you start to move on with your life, that narcissist is going to show back up and try to draw you back into their cycle of abuse. This stage is called the Hoover stage, and it is a clever ploy created to play on your emotions and rekindle the hope for what you lost just when you are at your weakest. Now, here's what it's like. You're in the aftermath of a breakup. You're starting to heal, but you still feel that lingering pain of heartache and loss. It's just right there beneath the surface. Now, as time passes and memories start to fade, you might start to think less about how they hurt you and more about the love you felt. And you start to think to yourself, maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe I did lose something special. But pretty quickly you remember how they hurt you, and the anger hits. No, they treated you like trash. And when you think about it, you want to tell everyone what you went through. Tell them how this person is so magnetic, how their confidence and charm just draws you in and makes you feel special. And then one day, everything changed. Now, in this stage, it's like you feel angry and hurt, but at the same time, there's this sadness, a sense of loss, an emptiness, like you miss a future that never existed. It's messy, it's confusing, and sometimes you feel worthless, like you deserve the way they treated you. But you know the truth. You were manipulated, and that is not your fault. Yet still, you miss that feeling of being loved and would give anything to feel that again. Now, this stage is a complex mix of emotions, and you realize just how complicated your feelings really are, because even as you attempt to move on, you still think about them. And from time to time, you feel that deep pain tugging at your heart. And then one day, suddenly, they pop back into your life like a ghost from your past. They're right here in front of you, bringing back a storm of emotions and memories. And this person's going to say to you, hey, you've been on my mind so much lately. I miss you. I realize no one understands me the way you do. I've spent so much time thinking about what we had. It's made me miss you and realize just how much you mean to me. And they're going to tell you, I'm sorry I hurt you, but I've changed. I want you back. I've changed. I'm going to prove it to you. I see where I was wrong, and we can put that behind us and start over again because I love you. And instantly, in that moment, you feel that mix of hope and dread, because part of you wonders if they really have changed, and part of you feels deep down inside that they are just going to hurt you again. But they seem so sincere. It pulls at your heart, and you long to feel that love again. Now, you may have heard this called by the term trauma bonding. And if the narcissist is successful in persuading you, then you are going to be trapped in a cycle of attachment, confusion, and pain, and the longing to feel loved all over again. Now, on my channel, you can learn more about trauma bonding, but for now, the big thing to remember about the Hoover stage is this. The narcissist has a deep seated desire for validation, control, and reassurance, and they will find it any way they can, usually at the expense of your well-being. They might seem confident on the outside, but they have deep insecurities on the inside. And it's those deep insecurities that are driving them to seek constant reassurance through the comfort of familiar relationships. That manipulation is a way for them to alleviate fears about their self-image and confirm their sense of self-worth. And once they lure you back in, they are going to replay this brutal cycle of emotional manipulation over and over again. Love bombing in the idealization stage, breaking your spirit in the devaluation stage, abandoning you in the discard stage, then sucking you back into that cycle of abuse in the Hoover stage. That narcissist is going to erode your grasp on reality, destroy your self-esteem, and fill your life with stress, anxiety, and a pain that leaves deep, soul-wrenching scars. And they will do it again and again. If you feel that a narcissist is starting to draw you back in, then stop. Remind yourself that it is not going to end well with them, because they are going to prioritize their own needs over yours and leave you feeling hurt and emotionally depleted. It's best to seek out a relationship that is rooted in mutual respect, compassion, and love with a person who not only benefits you emotionally, but also creates a more harmonious and fulfilling life for you overall. Now, if you are being manipulated by a narcissist, then it is crucial to prioritize not only taking care of your own emotional safety, but also taking the time to forgive yourself, because so many people get into the wrong relationships, but for the right reasons. And those right reasons are that deep, deep down inside, we all want to feel this pure and unconditional love and acceptance. Now, with me, there are a few things that I find really helpful when dealing with narcissism and relationships, and you'll want to watch this video on 5 clear signs someone is gaslighting you. But before you do that, I want to know, what are some of the challenges that you've faced with narcissism? Share your story so we can support each other, and join us on my channel by subscribing now. But before